Okay, so when I say the word blockchain, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Cryptocurrency, right? Bitcoin, maybe? Well, in China, that's pretty much the last thing on their mind. See, the Chinese government is taking this technology and doing something way more ambitious with it. They've made it a national strategic priority, right up there with AI and 5G, and it's kicking off a huge industrial revolution.
So that brings up the big question, right? Why this massive top-down push for this one specific technology? The answer isn't about getting rich quick on some digital coin. Nope, it's about solving one of the most fundamental problems any society can face.
And here's the core idea, the whole reason we're talking about this. China is using blockchain to literally engineer trust. In a country that big, with that many people, creating a reliable system of social credit has been a massive, massive challenge. And they believe blockchain, with its unbreakable promise of a permanent record, is the key.
To really get why this is such a big deal, we first have to understand the problem they're trying to fix. And it is a big one. Let's call it China's big trust problem.
You know, this isn't just some casual observation. It's a recognized national issue. In a society that is so huge and so spread out, just establishing basic confidence between strangers, between businesses, even between government departments can be incredibly tough.
And this isn't abstract stuff. These challenges pop up in everyday life. We're talking about things like major food safety scandals, where shady brokers sneak bad products into the supply chain, or the constant fight against fake goods. These things really wear away at public trust, and they're the exact kinds of problems this technology is designed to solve.
So if a lack of trust is the disease, how exactly is blockchain supposed to be the cure? Well, to figure that out, we need to quickly look under the hood at the core technology, the digital ledger.
At its heart, a blockchain is really just a digital record book. You can think of it as a ledger. But here's its superpower. It is designed to be ridiculously hard to change. Once a record is in there, altering it is next to impossible. And that right there is the foundation of the trust it's supposed to create.
So how does it do that? Well, think of it like an actual chain. Every new record, or block, contains two crucial things. The new information, obviously, and a unique digital fingerprint called a hash of the block that came right before it. This means every single block is cryptographically handcuffed to the previous one. So if you try to go back and secretly change something, its hash would change, the chain would break, and the tampering would be obvious to everyone.
And this leads us to the other game-changing part. It's a distributed ledger. A normal ledger, like a bank's, is controlled by one single company. You just have to trust them. But a blockchain ledger? It's shared and constantly verified by tons of participants. No one person owns it, which means trust doesn't depend on some central authority. It's actually built into the math of the system itself.
Okay, that's enough theory. The really fascinating part is seeing how this stuff is being used right now on a massive scale. So let's dive into China's real-world applications. And I mean, the scope here is just breathtaking. We're seeing blockchain pop up everywhere. Finance, healthcare, the legal system, government services, even tracking charitable donations to make sure the money goes where it's supposed to. But there are a couple of areas that really show you the power of this: finance and product traceability. So let's zoom in on finance for a second. One of the biggest problems for small and medium-sized businesses is just getting a loan. Banks often see them as a bit of a risk because it's so difficult and takes so long to check if they're creditworthy. Well, blockchain is totally flipping that script.
And the results are, well, they're staggering. By the end of 2020, a blockchain-based platform for lending to these small businesses had already handled over 8.5 trillion yuan in loans. To put that in perspective, that's about 1.2 trillion US dollars. This isn't some little pilot project. This is a full-blown economic engine.
So here's how it works. The platform pulls in verified data from all these different government agencies, tax, customs, commerce, and it merges it all into one single unchangeable credit profile on the blockchain. So now banks can just look at this unified record instantly. The trust is baked in, which lets them make super fast, reliable decisions and get money into the hands of around 80,000 small companies that might have been locked out before.
Now, let's switch gears to something that affects every single one of us: the food we eat. That same idea of using blockchain to create one single verifiable version of the truth is being used to fight food fraud and keep people safe.
And this is where it gets really personal and pretty cool. Imagine you're buying infant formula, a product where safety is absolutely everything. Companies are now putting QR codes on the package. You just scan it with your phone, and you can see the entire unchangeable life story of that specific can, from when the raw materials were bought all the way to it landing on the store shelf. Suddenly, your trust isn't just in a brand's promise, it's in a verifiable digital record you can see with your own eyes.
Of course, you can't really talk about blockchain in China without bringing up the digital yuan, but there's a big misunderstanding we need to clear up. It's not a replacement for payment apps like Alipay or WeChat Pay. The easiest way to think about it is this. Alipay is the digital wallet. The digital yuan is the actual digital money you put inside it, issued directly by China's central bank. You'll still use your favorite app to spend it.
So what does this all add up to? When you take a step back, you realize this isn't just a bunch of separate, cool projects. It's a coordinated national strategy. It really makes you wonder, is this technology actually building a nation?
I mean, the industrial effort behind this is just immense. You have this huge concentration of blockchain companies in the country's biggest tech hubs. Cities like Hangzhou, Beijing, and Shanghai have become these epicenters of innovation, with startups and giant corporations all racing to build out this new digital infrastructure.
And this is all part of a clear top-down plan. The government has officially labeled it a core strategic technology. There are over 30 tech parks being built specifically for blockchain development. Top universities are launching research labs and even degree programs to train the next generation of engineers. It's a totally unified push from the government, from academia, and from industry.
Which brings us right back to our big final question. China is making a huge bet that this decentralized, tamper-proof digital ledger can solve a deeply human and societal problem, the creation of trust. So, can an algorithm really build social cohesion on a national scale? It is, without a doubt, one of the boldest technological experiments in history, and you can be sure the entire world is watching.